They can touch your name. They can stain your reputation. They can twist your words until they no longer sound like yours. But what they can't touch is your mind. Most people guard their possessions, not their perception. They crave approval, chase validation, and sell their peace for the illusion of acceptance. But the ones who rise, the untouchable few, protect something far rarer, their internal kingdom. Because once your mind becomes unshakable, the world can only react to your calm, never control it. If you're ready to master that kind of mental sovereignty, like this video, subscribe and step into the circle. What follows isn't motivation, it's strategy. Lesson: the law of emotional containment. Your first battlefield isn't the world, it's your own reactions. Most people think strength means expression, showing passion, anger, conviction. But Machiavelli knew the opposite. Emotions are currency, and the one who spends first loses. The weak broadcast their feelings like open frequencies. They reveal what offends them, what excites them, what makes them feel small. And every observer quietly takes notes. In negotiation rooms, relationships, even silence, emotion is surveillance data. Every display becomes a map of your vulnerabilities. The powerful, however, learn to compress. They don't deny emotion, they distill it. Rage becomes patience. Fear becomes foresight. Desire becomes leverage. Containment isn't repression, it's transmutation. The art of turning heat into strategy. Imagine a man insulted in public. The ordinary one reacts. His tone sharpens, his pride flares. The untouchable one pauses. He lets the insult echo into silence. That silence becomes his weapon. The crowd sees composure. The insulter feels uncertainty. Control shifts instantly. Tactical training. When anger rises, smile slightly instead of speaking. It disarms tension and trains inner steadiness. Journal 1. Emotional trigger each night. Then write how you could have redirected it into strategy. Practice micro-pauses. Before reacting to anything, breathe once, straighten posture, and visualize yourself observing from above. Containment is not suppression. It's sovereignty. When your emotions serve your mission, not your mood, you've already won the first war. Lesson 2. The law of psychological distance connection is a privilege, not a right. The moment people feel they completely know you, they stop respecting you. Familiarity breeds comfort, and comfort kills mystique. The weak crave closeness because they fear being forgotten. They overshare to prove relevance, reveal their plans to prove importance, and mistake transparency for trust. But Machiavelli warned, those who open every door invite thieves into the castle. The more accessible your mind, the easier it is to be manipulated. The powerful master control distance, close enough to influence, far enough to remain unreadable. They let others think they're close, yet their real thoughts remain sealed behind calmness. Their mystery becomes magnetism. Their restraint becomes command. Picture this. A leader walks into a room and says little. He observes more than he speaks. People feel his presence but can't define him. That uncertainty turns into respect, because in a world of oversharing, the unreadable become unforgettable. Tactical training. Speak 20% less today. Listen to understand, not to defend. Never explain emotions. Explain choices instead. When others seek your attention, give space with grace. Calm distance, not cold rejection. Now drop this affirmation in the comments. I control my distance, and through it, my power. Because when people can't predict you, they can't possess you. And unpredictability is the purest form of freedom. Lesson 3. The law of strategic perception. In every room, there are two versions of you. The one you are, and the one they perceive. Power belongs to the one who controls the second. Most people obsess over being understood. They explain, justify, defend, hoping truth alone earns respect. But perception is not built on truth. It's built on presentation. Machiavelli wrote that men judge more by their eyes than by their hands, meaning what they see of you matters more than what you do. The weak demand recognition. The powerful engineer impressions. They know every word, gesture, and silence forms their legend. They never rush to correct an assumption. They let curiosity work in their favor. In the fog of perception, the calmest figure always looks like the leader. Imagine a conversation where someone questions your competence. The weak explain their worth. The strong simply smile, pause, and ask, "What makes you think that?" One question reverses the frame, from defensive to dominant. You didn't argue. You redirected tactical training. Before speaking, decide the feeling you want to leave behind. Calm, certainty, respect. Speak only from that emotion. When criticized, ask one strategic question instead of explaining yourself. Keep your body still when others grow emotional. Stillness amplifies authority. Now drop this affirmation in the comments. I shape how the world sees me, because perception is power's shadow, invisible to most but obeyed by all. Lesson 4. The law of controlled silence. Most people are addicted to noise. They speak to fill the void, explain to feel safe, and confess to feel connected. But silence, real, intentional silence, is the sound of command. Machiavelli understood that the pause between words can conquer more minds than any speech. The weak use words to prove. The strong use silence to position. Every pause, every withheld reaction reshapes the energy in the room. It creates psychological gravity, the kind that makes others lean in just to understand what you're not saying. Observe a master negotiator. He doesn't interrupt. He lets others speak until their certainty cracks. The longer he waits, the more the silence presses against their nerves. It's not arrogance, it's control through patience. Silence is a mirror. It exposes others while protecting you. It allows emotion to settle and truth to surface. The world will always chase what it cannot read, so let your silence become your strategy. Tactical training. Before answering any question, pause for 2 full seconds. Let the silence command attention. Replace nervous laughter with a calm breath. It signals strength under pressure. Each day, spend 5 minutes in total silence, not as escape, but as mental conditioning for clarity. Now drop this affirmation in the comments. My silence speaks for me, because those who can't master their words are enslaved by them. But those who master silence control everything it touches. Lesson 3. The law of strategic perception. In every room, there are 2 versions of you, the one you are and the one they perceive. Power belongs to the one who controls the second. Most people obsess over being understood. They explain, justify, defend, hoping truth alone earns respect. But perception is not built on truth. It's built on presentation. Machiavelli wrote that men judge more by their eyes than by their hands, meaning what they see of you matters more than what you do. The weak demand recognition. The powerful engineer impressions. They know every word, gesture, and silence forms their legend. They never rush to correct an assumption. They let curiosity work in their favor. In the fog of perception, the calmest figure always looks like the leader. Imagine a conversation where someone questions your competence. The weak explain their worth. The strong simply smile, pause, and ask, "What makes you think that?" One question reverses the frame, from defensive to dominant. You didn't argue. You redirected tactical training. Before speaking, decide the feeling you want to leave behind. Calm, certainty, respect. Speak only from that emotion. When criticized, ask one strategic question instead of explaining yourself. Keep your body still when others grow emotional. Stillness amplifies authority. Now drop this affirmation in the comments. I shape how the world sees me, because perception is power's shadow, invisible to most but obeyed by all. Lesson 6. The law of composure. Under chaos, chaos is the ultimate truth test. Anyone can appear wise when life is calm. But when storms rise, that's when masks fall and real character surfaces. The weak panic when things collapse. They chase instant control, seek someone to blame, or retreat into doubt. But Machiavelli knew, in chaos, emotion is the weapon of the untrained. Composure, the weapon of kings. Power is not about avoiding storms. It's about standing in them without trembling. The composed mind watches disaster unfold like a chessboard. It doesn't react to every move. It anticipates the pattern behind the noise. That's how leaders emerge when others drown. Picture a business crumbling, a plan failing, or people turning against you. Most will scream, complain, or freeze. The untouchable one slows down, breathes deeper, observes everything. Because calm minds collect information. Emotional ones collect regret. Composure is not denial. It's dominance over panic. When you remain centered, you think clearly, act efficiently, and influence those still spinning in confusion. Tactical training. When overwhelmed, exhale once, drop your shoulders, and say silently, "I choose control." In any crisis, speak slower than usual. Calm tone resets group tension. Each morning, visualize handling chaos with grace. It conditions your nervous system for control. Now drop this affirmation in the comments. I remain calm when others collapse. Because chaos doesn't create leaders. It reveals them. And the one who keeps his pulse steady when others lose theirs already rules the room. Lesson 7. The law of emotional redirection. Emotion is raw power, neutral until you decide its purpose. Most people burn their fire in the wrong direction. They pour anger into arguments, envy into gossip, fear into excuses, and then wonder why they feel drained instead of dominant. Machiavelli believed that every strong ruler channels energy, never wastes it. Rage becomes fuel, pain becomes focus, doubt becomes planning. The difference between the strong and the scattered is simple: direction. Think of emotion as water under pressure. If you open it aimlessly, it floods and destroys. If you guide it through a narrow path, it powers entire cities. Your task is the same: convert emotion into momentum. Imagine you feel betrayed or overlooked. The ordinary mind complains. The strategic mind transforms that sting into resolve. Instead of asking, "Why me?" it asks, "What now?" That single shift turns pain into power instantly. Tactical training. When anger appears, do one physical action: walk, write, lift. Breathe until thought returns. When envy arises, study the person instead of resenting them. Learn their system, not their story. Before reacting emotionally, ask, "What can this feeling build?" Now drop this affirmation in the comments. My emotions serve my mission. Because mastery isn't about killing emotion, it's about commanding it. And when you own your energy, no one can use it against you. Lesson 8. The law of social leverage. Power in isolation fades. Power in connection multiplies. The weak seek approval. The strong seek alignment. One craves attention. The other crafts influence. Machiavelli taught that men are driven by interest, not loyalty. To lead them, you must understand what they need, not what you wish. Social leverage begins when you see people not as obstacles, but as instruments, each with strings that, when played correctly, produce harmony or silence on command. The naive shout to be heard. The powerful whisper with purpose. They observe human patterns, ego, insecurity, desire, and use them as coordinates to steer outcomes. They know control isn't domination. It's direction. Imagine you're in a group setting. Everyone argues to prove intelligence. You, however, stay quiet. Then summarize what each person meant rather than what they said. Instantly, they feel seen. Subtly, you become the anchor of reason. That's social leverage, authority through understanding. Tactical training. Before any conversation, ask, what does this person really want? Respond to that, not their words. Compliment others on traits they're insecure about. It disarms resistance. Observe who influences whom in every group. Power hides in patterns. Now drop this affirmation in the comments. I influence without forcing. Because true Machiavellian mastery isn't about control through fear. It's control through awareness. The most powerful person in any room is the one who sees everyone clearly. Lesson 9. The law of inner detachment. The highest form of strength isn't domination. It's detachment, the quiet certainty that nothing external controls your internal state. Most people are slaves to outcomes. If they win, they smile. If they lose, they crumble. But the untouchable mind sees wins and losses as equal lessons, temporary ripples on an ocean that never stops being vast. Machiavelli said, "Fortune is fickle, but virtue is steady." Detachment is that virtue, the ability to stay steady while the world shakes. Detachment doesn't mean apathy. It means mastery. You feel everything, but choose what deserves reaction. You observe betrayal, rejection, chaos, and instead of absorbing it, you study it. Because when emotion stops dictating your direction, peace becomes your default weapon. Picture this. Your plans collapse, people turn cold, and whispers circle your name. The old you would fight, explain, or chase closure. The new you smiles faintly, adjusts the crown, and walks forward. Because no one can defeat someone who no longer fears loss. Tactical training. Each night, reflect on one event that upset you, then list what it taught you. When something ends, say, "It served its purpose." It rewires your mind toward peace. Practice walking away once a day from arguments, impulses, or approval. Freedom grows in release. Now drop this affirmation in the comments. Nothing owns my mind, because the final stage of power isn't control over others, it's control over self. When you can walk through storms untouched, you don't just survive the world, you govern it. The ascension of the Machiavellian mind. You've walked through 9 laws, each one a layer of control, perception, and self-command. From the chaos of emotion to the silence of discipline, you've learned what most never will. Power isn't taken, it's cultivated. Every lesson was a weapon. You learned control before conquest, strategy before speech, presence before persuasion. The world doesn't reward the loud, it bows to the unmovable. And that is who you are now becoming. Unshaken, unseen until necessary, and unstoppable when revealed. Machiavelli's true philosophy was never cruelty. It was clarity, the ability to see life without illusion and act without hesitation. That's what separates leaders from followers, creators from victims, rulers from the ruled. You don't need more motivation. You need direction. You don't need more power. You need control, because once you control yourself, everything else aligns naturally. Now remember this. No one can take from you what you've already detached from. No one can manipulate the mind that knows its value. No one can destroy what's already disciplined. Tactical training, the daily code. Start your day with one clear intent. Today, I move strategically. End your night by asking, where did I stay calm when others reacted? Speak less. Watch more. Act only when it multiplies your position. And now, the final affirmation. Say it, write it, embody it. I move with calm power. My silence is strategy. My control is my crown. Because in the end, power isn't in the throne. It's in the one who no longer needs to sit on it.